Ask the Expert show. We are here live to answer any questions you might have. We always say that houses talk to us. We are listening to the houses, trying to figure out what they're saying to us. If it's squeaking, we probably have a remedy. If it's bouncing, we probably have a remedy. If you got cracks in the walls, we probably got remedy. If you got dirty walls, we got a painter that's here to help you with that. So any questions you might have about your house, we're here to answer your questions. Feel free to call in. The number is 757-627-7979. 757-627-7979. Call now. The lines are open. If you have a problem with your house, we'd like to try to help you solve it. Don't forget, if you're calling in, you're probably helping somebody else that probably has a similar problem. So it's not like just you that has the problem. There's hundreds of people that are listening that are probably have the same problem or similar problem. And they just may not have the time or they may not feel like calling in, but you're going to help them out. So feel free to call in. If you call in, you get a free coffee card. So we'll take your name down and then send you a coffee card. So my name is Albin with Albin Co. We specialize in kitchens and baths and remodels. And right now we're doing a lot of kitchens. Everybody wants kitchens. So call us up if you want to work on your next kitchen or bath remodel.
My name is Michael Davenport. Myself and Barry Taylor own CVP, also known as CVP Windows and Doors. We're right here on the peninsula of Virginia, Newport News. We are the only window manufacturer in the area. Next closest is up there in Maryland somewhere. But we are the local guy, even though some people represent it that way. We do windows and exterior doors, and we most recently have added to our bailiwick. We're an authorized dealer for ProVia exterior doors. It's a very, very nice quality door, and we've added that to our line of stuff. And also our sponsor and our guy that got all of this started, Chuck Worley, who I've known for over 35 years, and he was just a mere child. That's right. And he started this show with the idea, like Alvin said, of being able to answer questions for people who couldn't quite figure out something going on with their house. Chuck's company, Worley Home Services, does plumbing, heating, replacement systems if you need it, electrical, air conditioning goes with the heat either way. He also does spray foam, and crawl space encapsulation. He can do any of those. He is a science geek when it comes to things going on in your house. Can answer a lot of questions that most people don't know because they don't study their trade. They just do things. And I'm going to turn it over to my buddy Jack right now.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, my name is Jack Keller. I own Legacy Painting. We're located right here in Yorktown, Virginia. We do residential and commercial painting. We do interior painting as well as exterior. On the inside, just about every project we do on interior repaints is there's some sort of stress cracks, nail pops, peeling corner tape, sealant tape that's peeling. So we can come in and get that fixed up, repaired, ready for paint, as well as exterior soffit and fascia wood rot. If you have some basic wood rot that needs repaired prior to painting, we can take care of that. And then we also do deck staining and fence staining as well. So I also want to introduce another one of our co-hosts, Miss Cindy Rao with Alpha Pest Solutions. She does crawl space inspections, termites, snakes, any type of rodents that are in your house, around your house, hornets, wasps, all that good stuff as well. She's fantastic, super easy to work with, super easy to get a hold of, and just really loves what she does and just really, really great at what she does as well.
And what's special about her?
She's the only lady with the license to kill.
That is true.
So look, we got some good questions here for the crowd tonight. So I'll start with my questions. I think Michael's got a question, and we got one for those that are listening that may have another paint project on their hands. So I've got two questions. The first one is, what you know, with brick and block, you put it together with mortar. So you're putting this wet stuff between the block and the brick to connect them together, and it kind of forms a concrete masonry unit. So what are the three components that make up mortar? That's the stuff that you're putting between the block and you're putting it between the brick. And we use it to maybe if you're making a wall of stone or something, you want to apply it to some backer board or whatever. So what are the three components that make up mortar? Again, the number to call in is 757-627-7979. That's 627-7979. And the other question I had is, what are the two types? What are the two most common types of mortar? So you can go to the store and there's two bags there. One's one type and one is the other type. And if you get them mixed up, your project could go south pretty quick. So you're going to want to make sure you get the right mortar. So it might be wise for you to kind of get that figured out if you got a project coming up where you think you're going to tackle some block and brick together.
Very true.
You know, tune in and maybe figure out what that is. So for Jack, we had a question. I was thinking, hey, Jack, what color are you putting on the walls nowadays? So the question for all you listeners out there, because I know the answer, what is the number one color that Jack is putting on walls right now, like on a day-to-day basis? So what is the number one color that Jack is putting on walls right now? And Michael, I think you had a question too, didn't you?
Yeah, I do. When we do insulated windows, there's two pieces of glass, mostly in our area. Some people use three pieces, but there are four types of gas that go between those two pieces of glass. What are those four types of gas, and can you put them in the order of expense? And remember, it's 757-629-7979. Again, 627-7979. Give us a call. The one thing, Chuck is on assignment over at Port Warwick tonight, and we're covering the ball game for him here in the studio. He has a remote studio at his office on Production Drive in York County. Ties us right in, and none of us sitting here are complaining about not having to drive to Norfolk. Damien, no offense meant. I hope you can understand that.
It was just as bad coming here today almost. I mean, the traffic was terrible.
Well, what traffic was, because I was coming from, actually, I was in Virginia Beach. I went through Norfolk. I went into Suffolk.
So it would have been better for you to have
when I got finished in Hampton, I said, and I'm not getting on that interstate. That's crazy. And I came up 134 up to 171. But, so it's all about knowing the routes and where you're going.
Yeah.
And using Waze.
Well, a couple questions I have. We were talking about, what's the number one color that Jack's putting on walls. We're not going to answer that question. We're hoping for a caller to call in. Maybe give it a stab, see what you come up with. If you know, there's no wrong answer. We're gonna give you a coffee regardless. Coffee gift card. So, but question that I have for you right now is, Jack, what kind of sheens are you putting on the walls? It's not going to answer necessarily the question of the color, but
why don't you tell the people what the finished surfaces can be, and then which one you use the most right now?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends. So I'll answer. So I guess there's interior and exterior. So I'll answer interior first. So the different sheens you can do on your walls. So we'll just trim. It's typically semi-gloss. It's a little bit more durable, easier to clean. It kind of gives it that nice pop. And then ceilings are typically just flat white ceilings. But for the walls, there's a few different options that you can go with. Flat, matte, eggshell, and satin are the four sheens that you can go with on the wall. You have your flat. Reason why somebody may go with flat, maybe it's older walls, a lot of imperfections, they're looking to hide it. Maybe they don't have a bunch of little kids or pets running around too. They don't have to necessarily worry about wiping down the walls, so go with the flat. Then you kind of go up to your matte and eggshell. A little bit more sheen, kind of gives it a little bit more of a pop. It looks great. It doesn't have a super shine to it like a satin sometimes will with the higher end paints. So the satin finish will kind of have a little bit too much shine in our opinion. And then for Sherwin-Williams, which is most of the products that we use, they're higher end products. Don't come in eggshell; they come in a matte finish, and so that's typically what we're putting on walls right now is a matte finish. It doesn't have too much shine, but it has a little bit. The products we use are durable, washable. If you have kids, pets, people going up and down stairs.
And you said matte was just under satin, right?
Matte is under satin.
Okay. Right.
So it's actually between flat and eggshell.
Okay. All right.
So
Let me ask you a question. My experience, eggshell is a little bit more difficult to touch up a spot. You end up having to repaint a whole wall to really get it to blend in. Is that true?
that is true. It's same with matte. Unless the walls are flat, you can't really touch them up. You're gonna have to repaint the whole wall. Just with the sheens when they're drying, it just you'll look at it. If you look at it head on, it's usually fine. But as soon as you start looking at it from an angle, or if the lights are
Probably
off,
really depends on the light source and where
light,
it is. And
light
relationship
definitely
to the wall.
affects it as well. But yeah, typically we're putting the mat on the wall right now, and yeah, unless it's flat and you want to touch it up, you got to make sure you paint the whole wall. Or if you do any type of sheetrock repair as well, you want to make sure that's primed before you put any type of paint on the wall as well. Then for exterior, usually for any type of siding, wood siding, hardy board, stuff like that, typically we're doing a satin finish. Especially on the exterior, it's a little bit easier to clean, a little bit more durable. And then trim is typically satin or semi-gloss as well in the exterior house.
Very interesting. And so just for the callers or the people that are listening in, and maybe somebody's got a project going on, is there one paint that does it all? I mean, like you buy the one and it works for exterior and interior, or the customers need to be watching for that, making sure they, if they're going to Sherwin-Williams, which one?
Yeah, I mean, you
you
could put I wouldn't put interior paint on the exterior, but you can put exterior on the interior of a home. It's usually a little bit more expensive. So it's not really,
so if you had a half a gallon left over and you wanted to, paint a small room or something like that.
If you had some exterior trim paint left over, you could definitely put on some interior doors, trim, windows, whatever you're painting. Same with exterior. If you had exterior, say if you had some satin and you want to paint a room satin, you could get away with using it, but I wouldn't do interior paint on the exterior home.
Interesting. So, last week we were talking about, I think it was last week, we were talking about hydraulic pressure, and
we were.
I totally glazed over when I was actually telling people, explaining to them what hydraulic pressure does to certain things. And we were talking about a swimming pool. I said, if you emptied the swimming pool, that it would pop out of the ground, not necessarily completely out of the ground, but it would definitely move upward, because it's like you empty it out. It's like a boat sitting in a body of land water. I mean, depending on like how high the water table is in that area, it is going to directly kind of be proportional to how much that pool is going to move out of the ground.
It's kind of like, why does an aircraft carrier float?
Yeah. So, what I didn't do is explain what hydraulic pressure and, or should I say, what does hydraulic pressure and drain lines have, to do with each other? So if you're using solid drain systems and you put it in the ground, if you do not bury it properly, and it's, maybe a shallow depth, you're like, hey, all I need to do, just enough to be sure that the ground is flat and my mower can get over it. And you use solid pipe to get, maybe a tremendous amount of water away from your house. It's most likely going to be pushed upward. Hydraulic pressure is actually going to work against that pipe and push it upwards. You're going to end up with a hump in your ground. So you really need to be careful. Do your homework, make sure that you're burying the pipe at a proper depth. And that could be difficult, because if you don't have a good fall from your house to maybe the storm drain, or the curb, or to the backyard or whatever, not to your neighbor's house. Don't be that person. You want to make sure that you got enough fall to bury it at the proper depth, because let's say you have like a 8-inch drop to the backyard. You'd be fine to bury it down and get there. If you put it 8 inches in the ground, that means, well, you don't have any fall. You're going to be at 0 when you get to the other end. So the pipe's going to be level. So a little bit of math has to be done. You need to know where your starting point is, where your ending point is, make sure you have the right amount of fall, but also the right amount of soil on top of it. So that thing doesn't pop out of the ground. So that's a recap from last week. Hydraulic pressure is something to be considered when you're actually working with solid pipe. And, Michael and I were talking about stories on that stuff. You would think that as a contractor doing construction work, that doesn't play into things very much, but it actually does. If we're burying like propane tanks in the ground, like you can actually have your own propane tank buried in the ground under the right conditions. And if you're not careful, if you don't do that right, there may be some issues with that tank being influenced by that hydraulic pressure. So
yeah, there's all kinds of things that you got to worry about when getting those type of things done. The best way to figure anything out is have a plan and talk to somebody that can help you answer the questions. We try to do that here. All of us combined experience is a lot. It's over 100 years. And some people only have a few years, like Jack, because he's so young. Yeah. But most of us
it's a little bit over 100 years, and Michael carries most of that.
Yeah, I can carry 52 of those years if these guys can pick up the slack. Yeah, that's all I got to do.
I got a question for you, Mike.
Okay.
So we've had a few times talking with clients, and they have these old wooden windows or wood rot, or looking to get new windows, and I start talking about how you guys do custom fitting and kind of how who you guys are. What is your team's process for custom fitting windows and coming out and measuring? And I guess how do you guys do that is my question.
Well, I really start in the beginning, Jack. What we do is a customer calls for a consultation. We are not the one-time visit close people. We don't believe you should spend that kind of money on doing windows. You need to get the information. We're more of an educator type people. I'm sure you've heard stories about people that the guy comes to your house tonight, comes up with a number and says, oh yeah, if you'll do it tonight, I'll save you $2,000 or I'll save you $5,000. Well, number one, we don't play that game. It's a game to pressure you to buy. And it's just not what we do. When we come in, we're going to do some quick measurements. The consultant will be there 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. If you have questions, he's not going to be there over 30 minutes. So he's going to get some pictures. He's going to get some rough dimensions. He's going to come back to the office. He's going to write it up. It's going to go through a process of getting the windows priced and the labor priced. Then he's going to have a time already set up with you to go back to review this with you. It's going to be 3 to 4 days if you're available. If you're going on vacation, we'll set it for when you get back. We come in, we sit down with you at your kitchen table. We go through the quote line by line. Every window in your house is in this quote. The labor is broken out at the end. Miscellaneous material charges is broken out at the end. And then you know exactly what you're getting. And sometimes people say, I can't quite do that, even though you do offer financing. We can help you with financing, but you might say, hey, I'm paying cash so I can get that extra discount. And I only want to do the front first. That's not a problem for us. I mean, we'll come out and do one window. The only disadvantage is that we have a labor fee for 2 men and a truck. That would be the minimum to do one window. It'd be not as good a deal as it would be if you had a few done.
Kind of like a
exactly.
Like a package deal.
And so we'll come out and do your the front of your house. And then if you want to wait a year, then we'll come out and do the back of your house. We're very flexible about that. Some people won't come out unless you got 6 windows. That's just not us. My partner and I, everybody is local. The general manager, the consultants that'll come out and meet with you. And all of us are local people to the area. But we know what your situations are because we've been there. We understand totally. And I think we're coming up for a hard break here in a minute. So let's go back. And I'm Michael Davenport again. My partner and I, Barry Taylor. We own CVP Windows and Doors. And I'm also introduced Chuck Worley of Worley's Home Services. He and his son Chase have a great business. They do plumbing, heating, electrical. They do installation. They do crawl space encapsulation. And they have it all going on, anything inside your house, electrical, HVAC, etc.
My name is Jack Keller with Legacy Painting. We do interior and exterior painting, drywall repairs, deck staining, fence staining. I also want to introduce Cindy Rao with Alpha Pest Solutions. She take a look at your crawl space. She deals with termites, pest control, any type of rodent around your house as well.
I am Albin with Albin Co. I'm working on developing a team that is passionate about building your next project. We specialize in kitchens and baths, remodels, and also additions. And this is the Ask the Expert show. We are here for you guys tonight. The number to call is 757-627-7979. To answer questions for you tonight. Let me get the caller number out. It's 757-627-7979. That's 757-627-7979. Call in and ask your question now. The lines are open. If you do call in, you're going to get a free coffee card, and our sponsor for the coffee is Column 15. If you haven't had their coffee and you want to give it a try, call in, get a free gift card for coffee at any Column 15 location. My name is Albin. I'm with Albin Co. I am excited to be here tonight with a group of guys that are passionate about building, and Albin Co. is all about building. We specialize in kitchen remodels, bath remodels. We do additions and fire restorations, but we just love building.
My name is Michael Davenport. My partner and I, Barry Taylor, own CVP Windows and Doors. We are a window manufacturer. We're right here in good old Newport News, Virginia. We service from Richmond up into the northern neck, all the way over to the coast of Virginia Beach, Pungo, and down into North Carolina, Outer Banks, and Elizabeth City. And I'd also like to introduce Chuck Worley, Worley's Home Services. He and his son Chase have built a fantastic business. They do plumbing, they do heating, they do electrical work, they do installation, they do foam installation. They also do crawl space encapsulation. I've had my crawl space encapsulated by them, and it's not saying I'd like to spend the night in there, but it's nice enough I could spend the night. They even put lights up in there so I can see around.
And my name is Jack Keller with Legacy Painting. We do residential and commercial painting. We're located right here in Yorktown, but we service pretty much like the New Kent, Tuano area down to Virginia Beach and into over in Smithfield, up in Gloucester as well. We do interior and exterior. We do drywall repairs, so stress cracks, nail pops. Somebody punched a hole in the wall, we can come out, take care of it, patch it up, and get it ready to be painted, as well as deck and fence staining as well. And I also want to introduce Miss Cindy Rao with Alpha Pest Solution. She does crawl space inspections, termites, any type of pest control you may have in your house, bats, squirrels, birds, whatever it may be. She can come out, take care of it. She's fantastic to work with. She's probably one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met as well. She's just fantastic to work with, super easy to get a hold of, and we'll make sure it gets done right the first time.
Yeah, she'll do anything to help you out. She's a fantastic lady. So we got some questions we need to put out there, get some callers going here. So my question is, and this refers to when you're laying block and brick, you have to put some stuff between the courses of block and brick and between each other, mortar. And for those that are tackling the projects out there, this would be something that you can either buy pre-mixed mortar, or you can buy just the components individually. What are the 3 components that make up Mortar? So if you're going to do the DIY and you're going to like, hey, I'm just going to do this from scratch, I'm not going to buy it pre-mixed. What are the 3 components that make up Mortar? Second question has to do with Mortar. If you do buy Mortar, one of the components is basically one of the components has 2 types. And one you're going to want, the other one maybe you're not going to want, depending on what you're building. And then, of course, in relationship to paint, Jack's doing a lot of painting here. He's got a big crew. What do you think the number 1 color is that they're putting on walls right now? Easy question. Try to answer that question. Call in now.
And I've got a question about windows. All windows today are insulated glass, except for plate glass, which is done in like storefronts. So in between those 2 pieces of glass, and more commonly here is 2 pieces, not triple glazed window, but the 2 pieces of glass, there are 4 different kinds of gas that go in between those pieces of glass. I would like for you to tell me what those four are and put them in order from the least expensive to the most expensive. So that would be my question.
That sounds like a
we're going to continue on
challenge right there.
We're going to continue on that window install after we.
Well, what's the question? So we make sure
the
we're on.
question was, what goes into getting a quote together for your window to be
The
installed?
whole step-by-step process. So
Yeah,
you showing up from the
step-by-step
from the time you show up to the customer's door to the
Exactly.
time you're finished. Okay,
So
cool.
we did right before we did the first step, and quickly reviewing that. The first step is we get a call from a customer. We schedule an associate to go out to your home at your convenience to do some rough dimensions, take some pictures, and answer questions, and give you a little bit of information about what we do and how we do it. He will schedule a time to come back and review a fully written quote. That written quote that we're going to go over with you. And oh yeah, by the way, his first trip does not mean he's expecting you to sign anything. No one should ever sit down and make an investment in windows on that first trip. It doesn't matter. Some people will tell you, oh, I can get you a $5,000 discount tonight. Well, what that really means that he was probably charging you 10 too much anyway. We do not play that game. We sit down with you at a pre-designated time after we've put a quote together, and we come out and we tell you about the process we're going to use. Now, sometimes it's a box frame replacement. And now Albin does these window replacements as part of his remodeling work sometimes. And sometimes it's a restoration series where we take out the whole old window, the frame, the whole 9 yards, and put in a brand new window in the opening. Our guy that does that does a complete measure after we have come back out, reviewed the quote, answered questions. We also will invite you to our manufacturing facility for a plant tour. And I know Albin has seen the plant. It's quite impressive because we make everything right there.
Yeah, I've been in both plants.
Yeah, the old one and
the old one.
Well, the old one was really not.
That was
so
a while
impressive.
ago. Yeah.
I built the new one about 14 years ago. It's over 43,000 square feet, and we get lineals in that are 20 feet long. We cut them, weld them at just over 500 degrees. You do not want to touch that plate when it's hot because it'll peel your skin right off. And it emulsifies the vinyl and then puts it back together, and it becomes one piece with an angle in it. We also can do shapes, a triangle, trapezoid. We can do half rounds, extended half rounds, anything that
and
you can
paint
think
the
of
outside too, right? Paint outside and inside.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had a set of windows where we needed kind of opposite what you guys are typically doing, where the customer wanted white on the outside to match all the rest of the windows in the house, and they wanted black on the inside. And they were able to oblige us on that, and CVP came through, and we got the customers got exactly what they wanted, and the results were fantastic.
And really the experience that we have has been accumulated over 21 years. My partner Barry has been in the supply business. He started the company for another gentleman in the area, And after 4 years, the gentleman decided he was 85 and he was moving back home to Japan. And the window business had started to get traction. And we put together a team of guys and one gal that bought the business. Excuse me, no cough mic button. But we have grown the business and have developed a product that we believe everybody can use.
Yeah. So, Mike, one of the things I want to make sure you guys understand is Michael is first and foremost, he's a window manufacturer. And we've had this discussion in the past, and I've been using his windows for since 2000. And I didn't even know that they had install teams. I would buy the windows as a contractor and install the windows. And for those that are listening and you think, well, I'd like to install my own, yeah, that's something that could be worked out. And so you can literally have, you can purchase the windows through CVP. If you know what you're doing, you can definitely do your own installs. And for those contractors that are listening and want to kind of get windows from Michael or any of the other sales reps that are there, they'd be glad to sell them to you, as they've done for me for 25 years.
Yep. And we do. We welcome anyone. Because we are not just a shop that shops for replacement, and we don't just shop for new construction. We believe everybody should have an opportunity to buy something direct from the manufacturer, and that's our biggest sales feature.
I think a big thing that for those contractors that are listening, you want to go in there, you want to measure, you want to get quick windows. If you know how to measure an opening correctly and you can hit it spot on, you will not have problems with CVP Windows and Doors, because they'll get it down to the 16th of an inch, whatever dimensions you give them. You can put it in and rest assured it's going to fit. It's going to be a square window that, unless you wanted it racked, I don't know, maybe they'll do that, cut some strange glass, but we like to have our windows level and plumb. So, but anyways, you want the nailing flange on, fine, they'll have it on. You want it off, they'll take the flange off. If you want to have what I call it snap J. I don't know what your terminology is. So they have this little accessory you can put on the outside, which I love, because I can install the window, run all my vinyl siding, and then snap the J into the, I'm not worried like trying to get this siding in behind this J channel. It's like literally free and clear. I can run all my vinyl and then snap it in there. It's an amazing.
I've seen what he does. He did our buddy Chuck's house, total remodel, outside, inside, changed rooms, walls, the whole 9 yards. But he liked that at the end. Because he cut his siding to where it came within 1/8 of an inch of the frame of the window. Then he put the snap J on it, and it was a perfect fit all the way around. Some guys use the J channel on the window, and if you really look inside of it, they're not particular about getting the siding to within 1/8 of an inch of the window. It might be 1/4 of an inch off.
Yeah.
And that's, well, in my opinion, it's not the most professional. I don't want to judge somebody else, but it's just the way I know Alvin and I do it. That's not a quality job.
Well, the J channel does give you some grace, it's not like some tremendous requirement to have it like super tight. And of course, you want to have a little bit of room, because the vinyl siding is, depending on the side, what side it's on, expansion and contraction can be a big issue. So, you want to make sure you get it to where you can't see it visually, but you surely don't want to be in a situation where your siding is buckling. So, but yeah, it's a fantastic product. And, I've asked them to do it multiple ways. And Michael's even mentioned that, there's a lot of people that are looking for these single hung windows. We went through that and talked about, the importance of making sure you have a couple double hungs for those that are listening. One of the important things is, if you don't put a double hung in the house, your drywall guy's going to probably be really mad at you when it comes to a second story drywall install, and he can't get that second the second pane of glass out, and he's thinking, how in the world I got to carry all this drywall up the stairs?
Like, that's when he quits.
Yeah, that's when he's going to quit. He's going to walk away from the job, and he's not coming back. So be sure you treat your drywall guys nice. Make sure you have a way for your, for those that are doing their planning stages of maybe designing their own house, make sure you have ways to get your furniture to the second floor. Make sure you got ways to get your stuff into the windows, like, the drywall is an important one. So if you're thinking about smaller windows in the upstairs, make sure at a diagonal that you at least have 48 inches clear when both of those panes are out.
Yeah. And here again, I mentioned early on in the show, CVP Windows and Doors. Yesterday was made an authorized dealer for the ProVia doors. An extremely, extremely nice door. I would tell you to go online and look up their online presence and what they do. It's spelled PROVIA, all one big word. And the doors are made in Ohio and just extremely high quality. And because you're buying direct from a approved dealer, you're going to get a very good price on a very high quality door. And it's that when you get a front door, it's a focal point of your house. It's what people first see on the remodel that Alvin just did at Chuck's house. Chuck's wife, Julie, had picked out a door. And then she said, I just don't know because it's kind of expensive. And overnight, I told her, I said, think about it overnight and then tell me tomorrow. And so she asked me if I'd come by the house. And so I came over there and she said, am I making a mistake? And I said, well, here's the way you can look at it. You can make this your last door, or you can make it a door that you're settling for before you put the last door in. And she said, that's kind of like paying twice, isn't it? I said, it really is. I said, so you just make the right decision and I'll get you what you want. And I didn't even get out of the house. She said, I want to go with what I want. It's a little bit more money than I wanted to spend, but it's got the look that I want. And it did really set her place off. You've always got to think about that, because when somebody rolls up in front of your house, the first thing they see is that front door. That's where they're going through. And you want to make sure that door pops when you're getting ready to sell. If you haven't painted that door in quite some time, you call up Jack. Jack can give you advice on what to do. But the main thing is it's got to be an inviting color. Some people like black. I personally have never painted a spec house with a black door. I put a color on it that is inviting, that is bright, so that people want to come in. What are your thoughts on that, Alvin?
Well, a couple things that are probably rolling some of the listeners' minds is, well, I mean, isn't a door, which is a door? I mean, how could you spend so much money on a door? Well, I think some of the things that people might not be seeing is what's in the core of the slab of the door, what's in the jambs, what kind of security you can get with the doors nowadays. You get what do you call it? A triple bolt locking, or what are some of the fancy
triple point lock?
Yeah, triple point lock. I've got that on my front door. I would never do it a different way, because when you have side lights, what's going to happen is, if you don't have these triple point locks, and you have side lights, and your lock is connecting to this one little thin mullion with just like a little strike plate, easily kicking in. So when you get the triple point lock, you got a high, low, and middle connection to this long, solid piece of metal. It's going to be very difficult for them to kick the door in. It doesn't mean that they can't break the side lights. I mean, there's still ways to get into the house, but you may have maybe one step up in security in that. I mean, some of the simple things to do is just put cameras in your yard and a sign that says that you have cameras, or just have a dog. Those are your two simple things to deter, things like that. So, but let's talk about things that go into a door, because you were telling me how excited you were about bringing this door manufacturer on. You were talking about a 2-inch, 2.25-inch slab. Tell me what that door is made of. What is that slab made of? The strength
of the door is the bulk of the door is a 20 gauge steel. It's wrapped in vinyl in some cases, but most doors are made with 24 gauge steel. And that lighter weight door cannot take as much abuse. The other thing that they do in every one of their frames, it has a flat metal galvanized dip plate that really reinforces that wood frame. The wood frame is a structurally, and even when you use long screws in the striker plate, which come with the door lock, that's still not going to stop someone. You see it all the time. Somebody kicks a door and it just flies apart.
Yeah.
In all the TV shows. Well, when that plate's there and that deadbolt is into that plate, that steel plate, that door doesn't fly apart like that. And then the screws in the door itself go straight in. The hinges go straight into the frame of the door. So it's really a tough bird. It's made by ProVia. It's extremely. They don't cut corners. It's kind of like the way we do it custom vinyl. If there's an option to put in something that we can save money on or spend a little bit more money and have a better quality window, we always go with a better quality window. And that's why people like Alvin and Wayne Harbin Builders, Ricky Edgerton, Wade Garnett, guys like that buy windows. Franciscus Homes buys windows from us. I mean, all of those guys do it because they don't mind paying a little more because the quality is way more than what they're paying. And that is important. And we listen to the customer and we make suggestions. If we think you're getting ready to make a bad decision, we're going to tell you what we think. But the ultimate decision is always yours. Always yours.
So as we wrap down this show, we just got a couple minutes here. Want to make sure we get to these questions. Hey, Jack, what is the number one color that you're painting right now?
Yeah, it's hard
on walls.
So, I mean, it's definitely a light gray.
Mhm.
That's probably the number one. We have a realtor we work with, and they always recommend to their clients to do agreeable gray. So we do a lot of agreeable gray, and their houses sell quick. So if you're looking to sell your house and you want a good neutral gray in your wall, agreeable gray would be the way to go. But just a light neutral gray we're still seeing a lot of that as being the number one color, but also beiges and some off-whites as well.
All right. So real quick on my questions, I had, what are the three components that make up mortar? Believe it or not, you got Portland cement, you got sand, and you got water. Those are your three components: Portland cement, water, and sand. And then for the types of mortar, you got type N and type S. N is non-structural, S is structural. That's not exactly what those two letters stand for. But if you're building the wall and you want it to be structural, use type S.
That's
Michael,
exactly right.
what's your, real quick, so we have time to introduce ourselves one more time.
Yeah, there are 4 types of air that go in between the glass. The one that most people don't think about is just plain air. And you got argon, krypton, and xenon, and they are all in the order.
Perfect.
And my name is Jack with Legacy Painting. We're located right here in Yorktown, do all types of painting, interior and out. And we also have Cindy Rao with Alpha Pest Solutions. She does crawl space, pest control, a whole bunch of different things with dealing with termites and pest control inside and outside your home.
Worley's Home Services, they offer plumbing, heating, air conditioning, electrical, crawl space encapsulation, foam, and standard insulation. And I'm Michael Davenport. My partner and I have CVP Windows and Doors. We're right here in Yorktown. We will make a custom fitted window at a very affordable price and install it for you in your new home.
And my name is Albin with Albin Co. We specialize in baths, kitchen remodels, additions, and we just love to build, and we would like to do something for you guys. So reach out to us off air, 955-9415, text or call the 955-9415. We'd love to hear from you. You guys have a great week. We look forward to talking with you guys next week.
See you next week.
The preceding program was sponsored and paid for by Worley Home Services, who's entirely responsible for its content.